So most people think of IRAs as retirement accounts, and they're limited to stocks, bonds, mutual funds, or CDs. So that's how traditional IRAs are marketed. But there's this whole other world of possibilities when we unlock the power of what's called a self-directed IRA. So with an SD IRA, we're in control of it. We decide where to invest the money. This really gives us access to opportunities really beyond the traditional investment options. Like our traditional financial advisor might not even know that these exist. Alternative investments like real estate, private businesses, even precious metals, they often appreciate at a higher rate of return, and it gives us diversification that traditional investments simply can't match. And when these investments grow within a self-directed IRA, they do so tax-free in a Roth or tax-deferred in a traditional. So then what can we invest in with a self-directed IRA? Well, the IRS doesn't tell you what you must invest in, it only tells us what we can't. That means a list of allowable investments is nearly endless. So here are some of the most powerful options. So real estate, rental properties. So we can buy single family homes, duplexes, apartment buildings, commercial real estate, and collect tax-free rental income. If we flip houses, we can use our IRA to buy, renovate, and sell properties for a profit. Raw land, we can purchase undeveloped land and hold it for appreciation or sell to developers. Here's actually a super cool story. So 20 years ago, I paid $5,000 to be a part of a mastermind group that focused on self-directed IRA investing. And the leader of the group shared this incredible story about a real estate investor that he worked with. So a guy who used his IRA to pull off one of the most impressive deals that I've ever heard of. So the investor was driving through a rural area in between two cities when he came upon a piece of raw farmland which had a for sale sign. So he stopped and he talked to the farmer, and he agreed to purchase the property at $400,000. He asked for a 90-day closing period, which simply means that he had 90 days to come up with the money and actually close the deal. Now, this investor had done his homework and he knew that this property sat between two cities which were just sort of sprawling towards each other. He figured it might catch the eye of a developer and he could partner with and maybe develop it together. So he started making some calls, and it didn't take long because the second developer he spoke with was immediately interested. So they met to look at the property together, and the developer confirmed his hunch. He said, "This is perfect. We've got this commercial and residential development project that we're trying to put together, and we need a property just like this in terms of size and location." So the developer did his research, and he came up with a value for the land. And here's where it gets good. The investor, who had the property under contract for $400,000, simply asked the developer one question: "What's your price per acre?" And the developer said he's willing to pay $900,000 for the land. So that was more than double what the investor was paying for it. But the story didn't end there, because here's the real kicker. The investor had secured the property inside of his self-directed IRA. His option to purchase the property was held within his IRA account. So when he flipped the property to the developer, he didn't just walk away with $500,000 in profit. He walked away with $500,000 tax-free, deposited straight back into his IRA account. Now, obviously, this is an extreme example, and this was a win-win-win for everybody. The investor helped the farmer sell a property that he had on the market for over 2 years. And then the investor, with a little bit of know-how and the right structuring, put a heck of a lot of money back into his IRA account. And this development became just this incredible thing for the whole community. So you can also invest in real estate notes. You can lend money to real estate investors and earn interest. You can provide funding to startups or small businesses acting as the bank. You can invest in startups, so private equity or even your own business with certain restrictions. And this is exactly how Peter Thiel turned his Roth IRA into billions. So you can also invest in gold and silver. You can actually invest in physical gold, silver, or any other IRS-approved precious metals stored in a secure facility. You can invest in cryptocurrencies, so Bitcoin, Ethereum. Some custodians allow you to hold cryptocurrencies within your self-directed IRA. You can invest in unique assets like farmland or timberland. So buy land that produces steady returns through crops or timber harvesting. You can invest in livestock and agriculture. You can own a herd of cattle or breeding horses or even exotic animals. You can invest in intellectual property like patents, copyrights, royalties from oil, gas, or mineral rights. And I could go on and on and on. I think the more important thing is what you actually can't do. So there's prohibited transactions, right? So the IRS allows us to basically invest in anything, except it has these clear rules on what we can't do with the self-directed IRA. So here are the big ones. The first one is no self-dealing. You can't personally benefit from your IRA investments while the money is still inside the account. So let me give you an example. You can't use your IRA to buy a vacation home and then stay there even for a night. You can't have a transaction with a disqualified person. So this would include you, your spouse, your parents and grandparents, your children and their spouses. It's like that linear line of descendants. So for example, your IRA can't purchase a rental property and then lease it to our son or daughter. We can't invest in collectibles. So we cannot invest in things like art, antiques, or rare coins. We can't borrow for personal use. We can't take a loan from our IRA for personal expenses. And those are the big ones, but there are some ways to sort of work around the rules, because while these sound strict, there are smart ways to structure investments while staying compliant. One way is that we can use LLCs for real estate. So we can create what's called a checkbook control LLC, which is owned by our IRA to streamline transactions. So our IRA would own 100% of the LLC, which in turn owns the property. And then you, as the LLC manager, can write checks directly for expenses like repairs or new investments, really sort of avoiding delays from the custodian. You can also partner your IRA with other investors, even yourself, to fund larger deals. So let's say that you and your IRA each invest 50% in a real estate property. The profits are going to be split according to the ownership percentage. So as you can see, this is actually a really fun way to invest and grow your wealth. So the first step is to work with a custodian that specializes in self-directed IRAs, like Equity Trust Company, Entrust Group, or Directed IRA. And the next step is you're going to fund your account. You're going to roll over funds from an existing IRA or 401k, or just make new contributions. Then you're going to select your investments. So you're going to research opportunities that align with your goals and expertise. You want to stay compliant and make sure that you're working with the custodian or advisor to ensure that all of these transactions follow IRS rules. One final thought here is that a self-directed IRA isn't just an account. It's really a concept. You can do so many different things that help you get financially free. It's going to allow you to invest in what you know best, to grow your wealth tax-free or tax-deferred, and really just take control of our destiny, our financial destiny. Whether it's real estate, a business, or unique assets, I think the possibilities are just endless and really only limited by our imagination.